Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video for Stat385. All right, so in this video we are going to cover quizzes through PrairieLearn. Right now, I'm on the landing page for our website, or sorry, the week 1 page. And if we go here, we will go to quizzes. Okay. Oh wait. Oops. Yeah, that's right. So on my end, there's a little bit of extra stuff. Okay, so we did the lab last time. We will do quizzes this time. And let me change, sorry. Oops, there's a lot of background stuff on my end, so I'm switching it to student view. And so I've already sort of gone through some of this on my own, making sure that getting familiarized with the PrairieLearn auto grading system myself. And so this is where you have these few discrete tasks here going over the syllabus, where each of the values of these questions is worth 1, and then some more like real type problems going over objects and functions in R, which is right now that won't mean much to you. We'll cover it in the coming weeks. Okay, so I guess before let's run through this, we can go through our quiz policy. So each quiz in PrairieLearn should link back to our quiz policy, which is just on our website. So we started out, well, here's our home page. Here's week 1, and here's quiz. So quiz in PrairieLearn links back to quiz policy on our website. Okay. So as said in our welcome and syllabus video, quizzes are low stakes, unlimited attempts. So there's going to be no penalty for submitting incorrect answers. Score can only go up and not down. Quizzes serve as practice for exams. So here, no quizzes will be dropped in this class. And instead, there will be opportunity to earn additional points. Also, just the format of like how this will be graded is very lenient. So like to balance this no drop, which is, I'm assuming, bad and the students won't like it, we have this other system which is good and allows you ample time to and multiple times to submit the quiz for credit. So for instance, we'll quit. So this first quiz that we're going to go through, quiz 0, won't count towards your grade. I know that even here it says that there's value for points. It's just more to demonstrate the auto learn system, but like this quiz won't count for your grade. So we'll actually go through it together. But quiz 1 will be assigned next week. And then a week and a few days after, on Thursday, September 7th, if you complete all of the items in the quiz for 100% credit, so a week and a few days, you'll get 105% points. And then a week later, so 2 weeks and a few days, you can get 100% credit. And then a little bit after that, or a week after that, you can get 75% credit. So this is a kind of a strange scoring system. So essentially the target date is this one for 100% credit. And then after that, you can, if you are, so I guess the way to demonstrate how this is going to work is, let's say you get 80% through here. You're at 80%, and then the maximum that you can get on the quiz assignment itself is 75%. So you don't need to do anything more. It's not going to do 75%. So like if there's 10 questions, they're all equally weighted, and you do 8 of them correctly, then you'd be at 80%. And that's the max that you can get, and that's what will be inputted for your grade. And then afterwards, it's not like you can earn 75% on the remaining 2 questions. It's just for the overall assignment itself, not on a question-to-question basis. So if you were to pass this date and not have anything done, then you can still, in 1 week later, still earn up to 75% of on the quiz. And so it's fairly, there's multiple evaluation dates, so I just don't think that quizzes will need to be dropped. Students in the past have liked this system. I hope that you will like it as well. Okay, so now on to what this 105% does. So in our syllabus, the quizzes count for 40% of your grade, or 40%, or 40 points, or however you want to add that up. If you were to earn 105% on all of the quizzes, you would still just max out or at 100%, you'd still get 40 points. So there won't be extra credit. There's buffer points is a way to think about this. So if you were to do, if there's 8 quizzes, and let's say on the first 4 you get 105, 105, 105, 105, and then the next 4 you get 95, 95, 95, 95, then those 5% buffer points will cancel out the 5% deductions, and then you'll end up with still a perfect score. So if you work on these quizzes often and early, and complete them early, then you're just accumulating buffer points that you can sort of just, that can be used to your advantage later, I guess would be the way to think about it. Okay, so it's not extra credit, it's buffer points. And there are no drops, but there's multiple time points for you to submit and receive credit, extending out, weeks into the future. Okay. Quizzes, yeah, so just kind of like labs, we're going to require you to write your own code and not source in functions that exist in other scripts or libraries or stuff like that. So these are banned words when you submit things, unless, of course, otherwise mentioned. Okay, and tips and tricks. Before submitting to the auto grader, you should run your code locally and verify that produces the expected output, or what you think is the expected output before you submit. A few things on this. Right, so quizzes won't penalize you necessarily for incorrect things. Your grade can only go up as you keep submitting, but it's going to, the auto grader system will time you out once you submit something. So you have a minute between submissions, and so it's best to check your work before you submit. It's best to know what you're doing, check your work before you submit, and then when you're happy with it, to submit, instead of like kind of guessing and checking, because that's gonna be very frustrating with this minute timeout. Yeah, same thing. So we don't know what functions are yet, but we will eventually. So same idea is that if you're writing a function, test it, and then make sure it works, and then submit it. Yeah, we'll go over the editor in Prairie Learn. It just isn't a very good editor. R is the same. It allows you to type in things the same, but the Prairie Learn editor doesn't allow you to check your work, so it's just not something that is advisable to work with. So work with R and then submit into Prairie Learn. Okay, and this will become apparent when we go through the quiz, but the idea here is that if you've programmed before, you may know that something, and if you haven't programmed before, don't worry about this. But oftentimes a function will take on an input which is a particular type, like a character vector, like a string of just letters, or numeric, some set of numbers and stuff. But like theoretically, it's if the calculation requires integers, you could input letters. A user could do that, and bad things should happen. If it's 2 times s, that doesn't really make any sense unless s is some sort of variable that's defined. But if it's just a character, then that doesn't make any sense. So although being something that you could actually type in, it's just something that doesn't make sense. So or in some cases. So here we're not going to try to like trick you. So you don't, at this stage, so you don't need to defend against improper types. So we're sort of operating in good faith in this point, and not being a rogue user who's going to input in the wrong type. Okay. Unless otherwise mentioned. Okay, so let's go through the quiz. All right. So let's see here. So I'm clicking the first thing here. You've got mail. Which of the following are acceptable email subjects when emailing the core staff, which is just me. Okay, so we would have to go through the syllabus to see what the correct format is. A note on this: I know that some of this formatting is subjective and seems unnecessary, and that could be point taken on that. But I get I get a lot of emails, and I want to actually be helpful when I get emails from you. And I have filters set up on my email, so it's proper, or it's going to be prudent to follow formatting guidelines so that I can A, get your email, and B, respond to it in a way that is helpful and fast, I guess. So this doesn't follow the convention. This doesn't follow the convention. So I don't want to check these. This isn't really that informative. So Stat35 typo in lab 4. Thank you for finding a typo. Stat35 Prairie Learn login issue. Yeah, that's going to be something. And regrade request. Okay. Okay, so let's just click a few of these to demonstrate like what happens with this with the quiz system. Okay, so you can see that some of these were right and some of these were wrong. This one right here, although it has the correct Stat35 thing, has like just a non-descriptive subject line, so it's not something that's going to be very helpful for me to understand what the issue is on your end. Okay, so now I want to try a new variant. I got some of these correct. And as you can see, some time was running beforehand, but you can see that this is has timed me out, and it's given me a new list to choose from. Okay, so stats 385, no. Stat 385, that's correct, but that's not helpful. Stat 385, help. Again, we want this one. We want this one. Is there any more? Okay, so we got a few more seconds here. All right, saving grade. Great, got it correct. So then I would get points. I've already done this one, so I already have the points, but it was nonetheless instructive to go through and do it again. Okay, so if you've read the syllabus, these are gonna be straight easy. Okay, let's go back to, quiz. Course technology. Okay. Which of the following technologies will be used in the course? Jupyter Notebooks. No. Canvas, we will use a little bit. Compass, decommissioned. RStudio, Prairie Learn, Q, and SAS. No. Okay. All right. Good. I am flying through this. All right. Course discussion forum. Which of the following is the discussion forums used in stats? Technically R would be the right word here. Ed, we're using Canvas, we're not using it as a discussion forum. Okay, got it. Sweet, okay. You can see these, I've already done some of these just to go through and check it before this video. I'm also learning the Prairie Learn auto grading system as we're going. Okay, who are the teaching assistants for this course? No, Alton was in the past. Just 1 second here. I don't see anybody. Okay, I'm gonna have to go fix the auto grader. Okay, we're back. Okay, so I edit content on like the Prairie Learn, like, back end, coding in the questions themselves to be inputted into this auto grading system, and I had done this to be consistent with the syllabus in this class. However, it didn't update properly until I had to go in there and manually update it. So now we are, getting ahead of ourselves. So now we are back. And now the question is consistent with the information that you have in the syllabus. Okay, so who are the teaching assistants for this course? So you would need to read the syllabus to get this correctly, but I have read the syllabus. And here we go. Okay, great. All right, awesome. So we are flying through this. Okay, course instructor. Okay, so Ha has taught this class in the past. Bo Lee's our department chair. Feng Liang is another professor. I don't think she's taught this class before. And me. That's funny. Okay. All right. So now those are just sort of, clerical things to make sure that we understand, our syllabus, and it's just practice with Prairie Learner, the auto graded system itself. We can see what happens when we miss questions and how it times us out for a minute or so. Now sort of real R tasks. Okay, which, again, this is just kind of a run through, a demonstration of the autograder with something a little bit more complicated. And I know that we haven't covered objects and functions. These are things we're going to cover pretty coming soon in this class. Okay, so following will help us become familiar with writing code that creates objects that are checked by the autograder. So we're going to create 3 objects in this question. Object A, it'll be an object given the name A, and it's an integer vector that has all of the integers from 1 to 100. B is a character vector. The first element should be this string, hello world. The second should be this string, welcome to Stat385. And then C is a vector containing the letters of the alphabet from A to Z. Okay, so we sort of know what we expect to get. However, we don't really know how to create these things yet. Except here's the code. Okay, so we can copy this. I think for organization purposes, it's going to be better if we go into RStudio. You know what? I should actually file, open project. So we had an R project from last time that we created for this class on our desktop. Okay. 385.project. Okay, so some stuff is going to happen. It's going to switch over to a project. So yeah, so where were we? We did the lab last time. So let's go back to lab, or to the Stat385. I have a bunch of other stuff in here for personal organization. This is like the raw stuff behind the Prairie Learn system, and this is the code that creates our website and updates it as we go. Okay, so here is quiz. All right, so we have nothing here. Okay, oh great, I have all my code and everything last time where I just start fresh. We have nothing in our global environment, nothing. We have a fresh new console. Okay, let's Command-Shift-N, create a new R script, copy in the code from the quiz, and then let's save this. So right now it's pointing us to Stat385. Let's do something like quiz 00, and then this is the 6th question, so we'll just call it 6. Okay. All right, and then let's just test this and see what it does. Okay, so we expected for this code to do, an integer vector from 1 to 100, character vector containing 2 things, and C to be an object containing the lowercase letters from A to Z. Okay, and did it do that? And I'm pressing Command Return here. Oh, so A, that looks about right. B, we have a character vector with 2 elements. One is hello world, the other is welcome to Stat385. C is all the lowercase letters. Okay, so it looks like it does the right thing. All right, so I'm gonna save that, and let's see here. Then I just need to upload it into the auto grading system. Okay, yeah, right. So then I copy the code that I checked, and we can place our code here. And it's creating a file called submission.r that's going to then upload into the Prairie Learn and check it. And what happened? Am I on? Looks like it is graded. Okay, good. Correct answer. It's not, here we go. Good. Submission.r, and we can see that we have a, there's 11 objects that were, or 11 items that were checked, and we can see that we got all of them right. Just out of curiosity, let's see what happens. Oh, I hit this twice because I hit the wrong thing. Okay, so let's see what happens if I were to do this. And we'll run this in 10 seconds after this after this runs out. So, right. So obviously when you do this, you're just gonna do the right thing, get the points, check the system. But here, let's just see what happens if I do something slightly wrong. So I do know that the autograder will check to make sure that we have all of the objects correctly specified. So if I remove object A from this, then we're not really going to get a very descriptive set of feedback back to us if we don't have all the objects. So let's just see what happens if we have one object incorrect. Okay, so save and grade. Okay, so here we can, save's not graded. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, so I've gotten all the points already, so there's no point in doing this again. Let's go back to let's demonstrate the partial credit that we can give out when we go in this question. Okay, so here, for this exercise, we're gonna write a function. So now so we did objects in the previous one. Here we're gonna create a function that's gonna calculate the area of a circle. So we want the function to be given the right name. Let's go back to R, create a new file, equals function radius. I think that we wanted, yeah. So the function is going to be an argument with, or one argument named radius. Okay, and then, it's 3.14. Right, so let's just see what happens if we type 3.14 times radius squared. Okay. So we're still gonna create an R script for our question, and we're going to save it and all of that. Now we're gonna make sure that our function actually works. Let's see here. Okay, so now I'm gonna tab. Okay, we can hit tab here so we can display the first argument of the function. Let's see what happens if we, okay. So the area of the circle is pi r squared. This, if we're using 3.14 as our approximation of pi, then this looks like it is doing something. Looks like it's doing the right thing. Radius equals 1. Okay, returns pi. All right. Let's try radius equals 3. Yeah, that looks about right. So it looks like it's doing the right thing. Let's upload it into the auto grading system, see what happens. Okay. All right, it's graded. So it's taking a little bit of time to actually get our information about like how many points that we got. Okay, it just took a while. Just took a while for the information to appear. And we can see here that we missed some points. So, okay, so we didn't, if we go back to the quiz policy, we can see that we're not supposed to include any of these words. So we got points, partial points for not doing that. So that's pretty nice. And then the code did run without errors. We checked that in our studio, right? We made our function and then we tried to see what the area of circles were at different radiuses. So it looks like it ran without errors, with some numerical vectors or some numerical values given, it produced output. Okay, so here we can see that there's a test case. Is the correct object returned when radius equals 3? So here there's this complicated diff file, and that's saying that it's basically just saying no. So it's not the most descriptive set of information here, but it is saying that like there is a function that's created under the hood in Prairie Learn, and that when it runs radius equals 3, where I guess the referent, when it runs with radius equals 3, it is not agreeing with what the student inputted with radius equals 3. Okay, so we failed right there. And then it also checks a random radius. So if you could parse out the useful information in this output message, you could supply it as a possible value in your function, and then just say like your function equals 3 times, or would just be the outputted value here. And then we also check the autograder would provide a random number to input in and see if they match. Okay. All right. So so what the issue is that even though 3.15 or 3.14 is often shorthand for pi, it's not the right value. So pi is such an important number that it's actually given a value in R by default. So here we can see it's 3.14159, and then it would continue on and on for infinity. A computer can't represent all of the digits of pi, so it's going to cut off at a certain point. Here, there's actually more digits than what's being displayed. The default in R is to display this many digits and then round it off. So this isn't technically correct with what R is even doing, but the point being is that pi is such an important number for scientific computing. It's built in up to some set number of decimal points, and it gets really complicated, the issues with floating point arithmetic in computers. That's more of a CS question, and if you want to learn more about that, you have to take many CS courses. But the point is, we have a real number pi, which has infinite number of decimals that can't be written in sort of like rational repeating form. It's important quantity, and it's given a set value so that reasonable computations can be made using it, since it's such an important quantity. Okay, so we're going to use it. We're going to update our function and try again with the autograder. Okay. Okay, so what happened here? So graded. Takes a little bit to... Okay, while we're waiting on that. Okay. So I have everything. Let's just make sure. Okay, so I have my project loaded, Stat385. I have my quiz, quick lab. Everything graded, everything done and well organized. Now, why is this not? I'm a little bit confused because on my end, if I go back, okay, so for whatever reason, it's taking a little bit to actually populate the responses back. Okay, but regardless, it's graded and we can see we've gotten everything. So the issue here was that pi is a built-in quantity in R, and then we can use it directly. So anyways, this is how quizzes are going to work. I heavily suggest going through the file management system via this R project and saving separate R scripts for each one of these questions. It seems like a pain up front, but it will be very fast. And if you clear R, so right here you can see I've played around obviously, but if we can get in the habit of clearing R, so I'm going over here to this broom to clear the environment, so all saved quantities are now gone, and I can Command-Shift-0 and restart a new R session. So now R is just blank again, just start it over. Then I have a new environment to sort of test my function. So here I can go create this function again in a new R session, tab, display the radius and see what the difference. So this was slightly different than what we did the first time when we used radius equals 3.14. Okay. All right. So that's the general structure of a quiz. Let's just go back and go to some fine points. So we answered all of the objects for this practice quiz before the due date. So that would get us 105% points. We saw some features and some bugginess in the autograder, which I'll try to talk with David Dalpiez in between lectures to make sure that we can get more instantaneous feedback back. But we did see some cool stuff, namely that we demonstrated in this first question here, this first like real question, that if you did everything right, then you get all the points. You can go back. Oh, here's that feedback again. Great. However, you can see that the score didn't go down, right? We'd already earned the 4, and you can see that once we did the 4 for the next question, our score is the same. So you could theoretically do these questions as much as you want, but your score will not go down. So that's a nice feature of the autograder. The other nice feature is that when we deliberately provided the wrong thing, we can see some detailed feedback into what was wrong, and we can also see that there's plenty of opportunity for partial credit. So it's, typically I think a complaint about auto grading systems is that it's either all or nothing. You either get the right answer or the wrong answer, and here it's a little bit different, where we've gone to great lengths to make sure that you get partial credit for good work that just isn't quite complete. And that you can constantly just, iterate up your score, and you can get hopefully some detailed feedback so that you can improve and see what you need to do. And then so we did this question. We got 40% of the points. We got timed out for a minute. We fixed the glitch. We uploaded the right function, and then we got all of the points. And now we're done. Okay, so that's how quizzes are going to work. And we saw labs last time, so you can see how the auto grading system works. And I've presented some idea of like good practice as far as creating a Stat 385 R project just to organize all of your work as you're working with this system. It may not seem like it's necessary to have this level of organization. I really stress doing it because this class will get more and more. There's gonna be more and more stuff. It's easy to get overwhelmed with the course content as the course progresses. So staying on top of a good management system up front is going to pay dividends. It's something that I do in practice as well, because I'm on several different projects with several different parts, and when things get slightly out of order, then it really takes a lot of time just to do very basic stuff and find where things are. So that being said, this is all of the content for the first week of class, and then we'll start getting into some actual programming next week. And of course, David Dalpiez, thank you again to him for providing other videos that you can check out on your own. Okay, so if you have any questions, read the syllabus, and then so that you can see how to contact me via the either the discussion forum or via email. And office hours will resume the following week, and I look to see you there. All right, so take care, and I will see you next week. All right, bye.